Hello and welcome to my studio journal. Now back in 2022, I started to redesign my home studio, shifting from software to hardware for the first time. What began as a few videos for some curious students soon became an ongoing unfiltered record. Okay, we're going to be talking about some other odds and ends that you might want around your studio. Now, one thing when I was setting up the piano wall that I kind of forgot to mention was headphones. Okay, well, you have different types of headphones. For instance, this is one that I got a long time ago when I first set up my studio, and that, once again, it's an AKG headset. They're closed back, which means that if you're listening to music or something, the other person's not going to be able to hear it that well. It also is great for round mics because when the headband gets pushed up, it activates the headset. When you take them off, it releases. There's a little trigger over here that turns off the headset so you don't end up with feedback with the mic. So these would be like great for singers and stuff like this. If you're going to be mixing and mastering, you're going to want a headset that is pretty honest, so it reflects all the frequencies evenly across the spectrum. So like for instance, I use these when I'm mixing. So these are DT990 Pro headset, 250 ohms from Bayer Dynamic. Okay, they're open back. They really work well for me, at least. I bought them. I like them. I read a lot of reviews about them, and they seem to work well for me. So you also might want to have a place to put your headset. Well, this one, for instance, this goes over by my piano, so I don't bother anybody late at night when I'm working or practicing. But you might want something like this. It's by Silverstone. It's really good to hold a headset so that I can just get it whenever I want to or have it easily accessible. Also, you might want to have your headset in a different area than where, let's say, your audio interface is. Okay, so you might need a cord like this. Now, this thing right here is just a headphone extension cord. I forget how many feet this gives me. This gives me like, I think, 8 to 10 feet. So that means I can have, well, my audio interface is going to be back here. That will allow the cord to go around, wrap around everything it's got to wrap around, and get to my desk really easily. Now, as I'd mentioned before, I don't have a keyboard and mouse at this desk. Now, what I used to have is this Vivo arm thing, the hook clamped on this stand right here, and it folded out over top the MoDX. And this is the keyboard tray that came with it. And I figured, well, okay, maybe I could utilize it in a different way. So when the pandemic hit, my wife took my PC. I gave her that one to work with because she had to work from home. She hated the keyboard for it, though. I like the keyboard, so I kept the keyboard and mouse. So now this is my mouse tray and all that. Okay, so where am I going to put it? Well, Vivo also made these clamps. So I bought the clamps separately because the way the thing was designed, like first off, I'd mentioned about my desk. It only has like maybe 6 inches before I hit the support, and the support is about 1 inch deep, so therefore I can't use a regular keyboard tray and mouse tray here because it won't slide underneath the desk. So they mentioned that you have to use like 1-inch wood tray on this thing. I got this metal one. So the metal one is sturdy enough to hold the keyboard and the mouse without any problems. And when I clamp this onto the desk, it gives me clearance to go underneath the desk. So that really worked out well that way. That's why earlier when I said I had to put the desk on a riser rather than the speaker monitors on a riser, that was the reason why, is because already this desk is pretty low. So I needed to have the desk a little bit higher in order to accommodate the keyboard tray. So I think that's about it. I think we finished off this, this particular area right here. Okay, now one little thing that I forgot to mention on the main desk here that I use quite a bit, in fact I use daily, is this thing right here. It's a little tiny graphics tablet. So it has a pencil with it or a pen. This one isn't electronic. I mean, it just uses, I think, a magnet or whatever it is. Simply write on the pad and it goes right into the computer. So you can write on PDFs, on music. You can do all sorts of stuff. So it comes in handy in all sorts of ways. For signing documents for lawyers and accountants and things like this. If you have to do a lot of writing and you're tired of dragging the mouse around and all that stuff, or printing things off and signing them that way, I would recommend getting one of these things. Anyhow, so that does it for day 2 here. Next day we're tackling the synth and drum wall. So this was the end result of today's efforts. If you'd like to follow the full journey, check out my online studio journal linked in the description. Until next time, I'm just a music teacher having fun. Catch you on the next one.